This week's vlog contains some sad, some serious and some ridiculous poems and songs. I'll let you decide which falls into which category. But I'll start with a chant by one of the greatest calypso singers of all time, Harry Belafonte. So here's me using my nut brown baritone voice to stuff up the Banana Boat song.
Day-o, the day-o, daylight come and me one go home. Day-o, the day-o, daylight come and me one go home. Oh, a can I drink a rama? Daylight come and me one go home. Stack banana till the morning come. Daylight come and me one go home. Come, Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana. Daylight come and me one go home. Come, Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana. Daylight come and me one go home. 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot bunch. Daylight come and me one go home. 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot bunch. Daylight come and me one go home. Day me say day, me say day, me say day. Oh. Daylight come and me one go home. Day oh, the day oh. Daylight come and me one go home. A beautiful bunch of ripe banana. Daylight come and me one go home. I did deadly black tarantula. Daylight come and me one go home. Day me say day, me say day, me say day. Oh. Daylight come and me one go home. Day me say day, me say day, me say day. Oh. Daylight come and me one go home. Come, Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana. Daylight come and me one go home. Come, Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana. Daylight come and me one go home. Day-o, the day-o. Daylight come and me one go home. Day-o, the day-o. Daylight come and me one go home.
This is a poem called Kurt the Magnificent. If earthworms were made from nickel, he said, we'd all be away by 6, instead of lying here snug in our bed, clutching our walking sticks. But wait a moment, said Kurt, we can't all be hypnotised. Some of us will get terribly hurt, and some of us crystallised. Nonsense, said God in a terrible tone. No one need ever know. So off they went, each on his own, out in the wind and snow. They caught the tubular wire to France and got off in Albany. Then round the roses and cowslips they danced before going home to tea. Then Nora stood up and sang her song, and the melody was so sweet, and the rhinoceros sang along, and everyone tapped their feet. How very kind, said God out loud. Nobody sings that song sweeter. Now, would you all do yourself proud and give me £1 for the meter? And everyone pulled out their wallet or purse, or felt in their money bands. Then, generously and with never a curse, they all got a smack on their hands. So Kurt drove up with a crash of the gears, and his face wore an anxious frown, and everyone clapped their hands to their ears and turned the volume down. Bold people, he sang in a voice so rare that befitted a man so brave, please brush your teeth and comb your hair and have a shower and shave. So the townsfolk gathered there, got out their bars of Dove, and with the smell of toothpaste in the air, gave thanks to God above. Whenever you have a stew or a casserole or buy some chutney, some piccalilli or something like that. Don't you just love those little red bits that they always put in them? I don't know what they are. They put them in olives and all sorts of places. But I love them. So I've written this little poem about them called Little Red Bits. Little red bits, oh little red bits, colouring up my stew. You are more lovelier than green or yellow, and so much better than blue. Little red bits, oh little red bits, so tasty, nutritious and good. No matter what folks say about you, you've been everything that you should. Little red bits, oh little red bits, sweeter than Christina Trevanion. I think you are more spectacular than the mighty Grand Canyon. I think that, given the choice, I'd choose you over football. Little red bits, oh little red bits, you are the greatest of all. You probably recalled a few weeks ago I released a poem about a village in Western Australia called Kojonup. Well, Keith Potger from the legendary Aussie group The Seekers heard it, and he suggested I make a few alterations. They were bloody good alterations, so I incorporated them as one sensibly would on occasions like this. So here's the revamped Kojonup by Lees and Potger. Or should that be Potger and Lees? I stopped in the town of Kojonup. I wanted to fill my petrol tank up, have a pie with sauce and perhaps a cup of Earl Grey or Darjeeling. I saw a server on the side of the street where I could get a bite to eat, so I went inside and found a seat. There was a spider on the ceiling. A woman came up with a little pad and smiled and said, "G'day, Grandad." She'd been in the sun because she was burnt quite bad. The skin on her nose was peeling. I placed my order for a pie and chips. She smiled at me with Botox lips and bought me fries with 2 kinds of dips and said she came from Ealing. "That's nice," I said. "I come from Kent." She said, "I could tell by your accent." And with that she turned her back and went. My senses were freewheeling. I ate my chips but left my pie. The meat was off and the pastry dry. But as I left she winked her eye. I knew what she was feeling. I filled my tank from the petrol pump and then skedaddled from that dump. I never went and paid that frump. I knew that was stealing. All the way to Albany, my crime and the iniquity left my mind in an agony with which I wasn't dealing. The crime I did left me aghast, but time went by and 5 years passed. I shed my guilt and pain at last. I'm on my way to healing. Now here's a little bit of my medical history for you again. I know you always enjoy hearing about these things. This one's called carcinoma. I once had a carcinoma and it grew up on my chest. Of all the other carcinomas, I thought mine's the best. I explained it to my doctor and I said, "It hurts like hell." He examined it and then he said, "It's just a squamous cell." So he got his little scalpel and he waved it all about. I said, "Doctor, what you doing?" He said, "I'm going to cut it out." So he laid me on a pillow and a needle he did poke. Then he deftly plied his scalpel and said, "Got the little bloke." Then he slapped a plaster on it and charged me several £100. He threw my lovely carcinoma in the bin and shut the lid. Now I grieve my carcinoma and look at the scar where it had been. I still think that small cancer was the loveliest thing I ever seen. The Phoebe Dunbar was one of the last ships to ply the convict route from Dublin's Dundee port to Fremantle in Western Australia. It suffered a number of mishaps and had the most number of deaths by disease on any of the transportation ships. It was involved in quite a few accidents and groundings here and in Queensland. It was eventually destroyed by fire in the Hunter Estuary in Newcastle, New South Wales. I wrote the poem some years ago, but so far I've never performed it, so you're getting a first glimpse. It's simply called the Phoebe Dunbar. I was brought here on this prison ship called the Phoebe Dunbar to this land of heat and sand and sores and flies. 90 days out of Dunleary Pot to Fremantle so far, to work and sweat under these fierce blue skies. It was 16 months ago in spring. Russell forced us from our land. We were starving with no shelter from the rain. The constable, he caught me stealing one of Lucan's lambs. Now I'll never see your lovely face again. The worst thing is I can't find out what's happening to you, since they put me into jail in Dublin town. And they sent me here for 7 years to worry, sweat and stew down at Albany on King George's Sound. At night I sleep, and when I dream my mind's at liberty, and each time it goes back to that Emerald Isle, with no famine and no English, and me countrymen are free, and the only thing that matters is your smile. But each morning when I wake under my blanket on the floor, and the water kicks my ribs to start the day, with just the aching memory of all that I adore, which the cursed ship Phoebe Dunbar took away. Old Man River was one of the songs from Oscar Hammerstein II and Jerome Kern's hit musical Showboat, and it told of life on the Mississippi River. I'll do that for you now.
Colored folks work along the Mississippi. Colored folks work while the white folk play. Getting no rest from the dawn till sunset. Getting no rest till the judgment day. Don't look up and don't look down. You don't just make the white bus frown. Bend your knees and bow your head and pull that rope until you're dead. Let me go away from the Mississippi. Let me go away from the white man boss. Show me that stream called the River Jordan. That's the old stream that I long to cross. Old Man River, that old man River, he must know something, but don't say nothing. He just keeps rolling, he keeps on rolling along. He don't plant taters, he don't plant cotton, and them that plants 'em is soon forgotten. But old Man River, he just keeps rolling along. You and me, we sweat and strain, bodies all aching and racked with pain. Tote that barge and lift that bale, you get a little drunk and your land's in jail. I get weary and sick of trying. I'm tired of living and scared of dying. just keeps rolling along.
Lovely old song from the 1970s, written by Ralph McTell. It's always been one of my real favourites.
Have you seen the old man in the closed down market, king of the paper with his worn out shoes? In his eyes you'll see no pride, and held loosely at his side yesterday's paper, telling yesterday's news. So how can you tell me you're lonely and say for you that the sun don't shine? Let me take you by the hand and lead you through the streets of London. I'll show you something to make you change your mind. Have you seen the old gal who walks the streets of London, that in her hair and her clothes in rags? She's no time for talking, she just keeps right on walking, carrying her home into town carrier bags. So how can you tell me you're lonely and say for you that the sun don't shine? Let me take you by the hand and lead you through the streets of London. I'll show you something to make you change your mind. In the all-night cafe at 11:15, same old man sitting there on his own, looking at the world over the brim of his teacup. Each tea lasts an hour, then he wanders home alone. So how can you tell me you're lonely and say for you that the sun don't shine? Let me take you by the hand and lead you through the streets of London. I'll show you something to make you change your mind. Have you seen the old man outside the Seaman's Mission, memory fading with the metal ribbons he wears? In our winter city the rain cries little pity, one more forgotten hero in a world that doesn't care. So how can you tell me you're lonely and say for you that the sun don't shine? Let me take you by the hand and lead you through the streets of London. I'll show you something to make you change your mind. I'll show you something to make you change your mind.
Well, that's that little lot over for the 21st of May. Hope you enjoyed it. We're starting on the next one, which will be sometime in first week in June. Hope you'll enjoy that one as much. Now, remember, keep isolating, keep yourself safe, keep washing your hands, keep that social distance. I love you all.